Good afternoon, scholars, and welcome back to the Restricted Collection, a podcast about tabletop games. I'm your host, the head librarian, Chad, and today we are starting a blind Let's Play of Circus Ex Mortis. Circus Ex Mortis is a circus-themed, if that wasn't obvious enough, fan campaign designed by The Beard. It also had an associated investigator set that came with it. I will be playing as one of those investigators. So, in the shadow of the new moon. So from the wells of night to the gulfs of space, and from the gulfs of space into the wells of night, ever their praises and abundance to the black goat of the woods, Ea Shub, the goat of 1,000 young. From the Whisperer in Darkness. Circus Ex Mortis is an 8-part campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game. This campaign is based on various works of H.P. Lovecraft, deals from real-life events, historical and mythological figures, secret societies, and, of course, the circus. As a general notice to people who have a fear or aversion to clowns, clowns do appear in the campaign, but the art chosen for these cards avoids the typical killer clown image. That's nice. I don't have a thing about clowns. In fact, one of the investigators that I almost played as is a clown. But additional rules. Moon tokens. This campaign introduces a new type of chaos token, the moon. The moon. For anyone who has read or seen any of the Stand miniseries, M-O-O-N, that spells moon. Just whenever I read, that's not a comment on the character that has that as their persistent phrase or anything. It's just stuck in my head. Oh, moon, M-O-O-N. The moon plays a significant role, and the moon token represents both the strength and severity of its strange influence. Moon Chaos tokens revealed during a skill test have the following effect. 0. Seal this token on your investigator card and reveal another token. Moon tokens sealed on your investigator card have no effect on their own, but some card effects may reference whether or not there is a moon token sealed on your investigator card, or the number of moon tokens sealed on your investigator card. At the end of the round, for each moon token sealed on your investigator card, you must either choose one, that token stays sealed on your investigator card, or take 1 damage or 1 horror, then release that token. A moon token revealed outside of a skill check has no effect on its own, unless otherwise specified by a card effect. Oh right, tarot decks. Let me go grab my tarot deck. Something that I greatly appreciated is that if the investigators choose to use the tarot deck from the Return to Circle and Done expansion, there is some thematic connection to the Circus Ex Mortis campaign. Investigators may choose to perform an 8-card campaign reading with these specific 8 cards in this order. So the Chariot, the Devil, Temperance, Sun, Moon, Moon, Sun, Moon, and then I'll need the Magician, Hermit, Strength. Hermit, Magician, Strength. Okay, I read those out of order, but in order it is Magician, Hermit, Strength, Magician, Hermit, Strength, Chariot, Devil, Temperance, Sun, Moon. So, for those of you who've never done this before or haven't done this in a while, the way that the tarot reading works is you get these 8 cards. If you're doing it random, it would just be 8 random cards, but there's a specific order here. And you get to put the cards into play. You get to choose half of them to keep face up, and half of them you have to, or not face up, but upright in position, and half of them you flip over. So I don't know this campaign. I don't know what missions I'm going to have. This is probably a terrible idea, but we're doing it anyway. So the magician, each investigator begins the upright begins the game with 3 additional resources, versus each investigator begins the game with 3 fewer resources and cannot gain resources during their first turn. I guess I should say who I'm playing as. I'm playing as Natalie Solier. I believe that's how it would be pronounced. The Juggler. She is a... So all of the investigators for this set have a primary class and a secondary class, but they can take 0 to 3 of both of those classes. The reason why they are distinctly in one footing rather than the other is they must have at least 10 more cards of their primary class than they have of their secondary class. So in the case of Natalie, the Juggler, yeah, you can take both Seeker and Rogue level 0 to 3, but you must always have at least 10 more Seeker cards than you do Rogue cards. You can splash those fancy Rogue things, but you gotta make sure you keep up with your Seeker stuff. 2 Will, 4 Intellect, 3 Fight, 3 Evade, Performer, Socialite, apologies. I am just tripping over myself today. You do not discard assets in excess of available slots after they enter play. So you only have 2 hands, but I can play more hand slot stuff, and it doesn't force me to immediately discard. Assets played in excess of available slots gain fast. So if my hands are already full, I can just throw in another hand asset or a hand slot card at fast. And there's no limit to that. I love this, that she's just got her hands full and you just juggle more things. Oh yeah, we'll just throw a scroll of secrets onto that. Why not? Forced at the start of the upkeep phase, discard assets you control in excess of your available slots. So during my investigation phase, I can just toss things into the cycle and go from there. Elder Sign +1, you may swap an asset you control with an asset in your hand, paying the difference between their costs. 6 health, 8 sanity. The flavor text is: the mind must be ready for the world is not. So I've never played her before. I've got a very asset-heavy deck right now. So each investigator begins the game with 3 additional resources is nice, but not insurmountable. So we're going to leave that one face up for now, but depending on how bad the rest of these get, I might flip it over. I also love, my deck is a sort of a spin on the Academic Army archetype. That old archetype for Seeker. So yeah, I'm not really expecting shenanigans. I'm going to be enjoying just throwing allies into my slots and being able to juggle allies. Hermit, upright, increase the investigator's maximum hand size by 3. Reversed, decrease investigate. I don't care about hand size so much, so I'm willing to perfectly reverse you. Strength. When the game begins, each investigator may pay an asset from their hand at -2 cost, or during the first round of the game, each investigator cannot play assets. I'd rather you be face up. Chariot. Each investigator begins the game with 2 additional cards in their opening hand. That is very nice. Each investigator begins the game with 2 fewer cards in their opening hand and cannot draw cards. We're going to leave you face up for a minute. Currently, I'm at 3 of 4 face up. We're going to just flip the Magician face down. Or reverse, I should say. I feel like that, yeah, that's fine. Devil. Each investigator has 1 additional slot chosen by that investigator when the game begins, or each investigator has 3 fewer slots, each a different type, chosen by that investigator when the game begins. Ooh, that is interesting to have, because I don't care so much about my slot. We're going to reverse you for now. So I've got 2 upright, 3 reversed. Temperance. Each investigator gets +1 sanity versus each investigator gets -1 sanity. I'll take the -1 sanity. I've got an Academic Army that can take a lot of horror for me. The Sun. During each investigator's turn, first turn. Okay, cool. During each investigator's first turn, they may take 2 additional actions, or during each investigator's first turn, they have 2 fewer actions to take. I'm currently at 2 upright, so yeah, we'll leave you upright. What's the last one? The Moon. The first time each investigator's deck would run out, they may shuffle the bottom 10 cards of their discard pile back into their deck. When the game begins, each investigator discards the top 5 cards of their deck. Shuffle each discarded... I don't really care about the moon. Yeah, I don't care about the moon. So I'll reverse you, which means I can upright something else. I think I'm going to upright the devil. I know I was saying, like, oh, the slots don't matter that much for me, but, like, losing 3 slots is a lot. And having an additional slot, which might be nice for me to have extra things with the amount of assets that I have. So just for reference, that leaves the Magician reverse, the Hermit reverse, Strength upright, Chariot upright, Devil upright. Then we have Temperance reversed, Sun upright, Moon reversed. Okay. I've already got my bag together. I'm just playing on standard. Prologue. Coming soon, the New Moon Circus. Come and see the greatest show in the world. Death-defying acrobatics, feats of supreme strength and skill, a menagerie of the most incredible creatures alive, coming to your town this Sunday, one night only. Don't miss this one-in-a-lifetime chance. Sunday, August 26th, 1923. That's kind of early for the timeline. That's not a criticism or anything. That's just like, oh, usually things are like 25, 26, 27, 28. The New Moon Circus has been the talk of the town for the better part of the week. Traveling circuses tend to visit bigger cities for potential profit alone, but few in Arkham could find time or money to visit Boston, New York, or Philadelphia on a whim. While the circus typically didn't draw the attention of high society, even the French Hill elite began to joke about seeing the circus for a lark. You confess you had some interest in the circus as well, but not for the popular reasons. I mean, I have interest in the circus because I'm the juggler? Minnie Klein of the Arkham Advertiser was one of the first to bring the coincidences to your attention. You found Minnie waiting for you at Velma's diner with her notepad in hand and a hungry look in her eyes. And it wasn't for the lunch specials. Take a look at these, she says, using her pencil like a teacher's pointer. The New Moon Circus used to work the usual circuit in the South, hitting all the big cities like Atlanta and Jacksonville, and never going further north than Memphis. Then a month ago, the circus suddenly took up the coast and started working a bunch of podunk towns on the way north. Arkham's the biggest one they've hit since Savannah. You concede that there's probably something odd behind the circus's decision, but you fail to see what about it has excited Minnie. She quickly elaborates. Missing person cases and mysterious deaths in each town in the New Moon Circus has visited at the time that the circus was in town. And here's the kicker. Each missing person cases and missing death case in each town. I feel like there's a word missing. Sorry. Missing person cases and missing mysterious deaths in each town. Oh, it's just stating it as a fact. I was waiting for it to say have increased. No, it's just stating it as a fact. Sorry. Minnie smiles proudly as she taps the bottom of her pad. The people who went to see the circus, nobody can remember anything concrete about it. 2 people who lived 3 states away gave their local papers the exact same quote about their experience. How's that for fishy? Fishy enough to warrant your investigation at the very least, and so with tickets in hand and preparations made for any possible contingency, you set out for the circus. The evening is bright, still bright owing to the time of year, but the full moon is already rising. Add 3 moon tokens to the bag. I am not sponsored, but recently decided to try Tinkertown games for their tokens. They had moon tokens. It's not that I went and bought a whole new set just because I'm like, oh, I could have subbed in Frost tokens, but it's just like the tokens that I had been using for a while were starting to wear a bit. So I'm like, let's try something new. So yeah, they're metal. Hopefully that's not super annoying on the podcast. And if so, I will find a solution. Scenario 1, one night only. The woods south of Uptown loom above you in the fading light as you approach the circus grounds. Smiling barkers take your tickets and usher you in with enthusiastic shouts of the many waiting attractions, though you only take one note of potential threat. Though you only take note of potential threats. If this circus is harboring dark and deadly things, then you can't afford to let your guard down for even a moment. You follow the flow of the crowd to the main tent, wondering just where the trouble might start. I'm going to take a seat next to the acrobats, so I could choose to take a seat next to the animal acts, the acrobats, or the clowns. I'm the juggler. It just feels the most appropriate to go to the second ring of the big top. First ring is the animal acts. Third ring is the clowns, and there are 3 separate locations that make a little triangle together. I realized I forgot to put the rest. I've got just left the rest of the locations in the stack and didn't distribute them, but we'll get to that. If Dexter Drake or one or more performer investigators were chosen for this campaign, those investigators read behind the curtain. As you seat yourself in the bleachers, your eyes instinctively stray to where the performers gather before beginning their routines. The few visible members scan the room furtively, practicing strange hand motions. I begin the game with 1 clue from the token bank. With a sudden loud fanfare, a long parade of exotic animals and costume acrobats snake around the tent, each settling into their performance areas with the applause of the crowd. A tall man, unnaturally tall, with a pointed beard and a pitch black suit, saunters between the 3 rings and gives an elegant bow to the audience. You catch an unsettling glint in his eyes as he raises his head to address the cheering citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the greatest spectacle of your lives. Watch in amazement as I, Sylvester Blake, ringmaster of the New Moon Circus, unveil our most impossible trick. The ringmaster's voice booms out with a tone just as unnatural as his appearance. He weaves his hands through the air with a magician's deftness, and one of the elephants rears up with a trumpet call. Cheers and applause ring out from the audience as the elephant repeats its motion, but its call grows distorted, and its form begins to waver. When the animal rises for a 3rd time, its head begins to split, and its cry is utterly alien. Oh, goodness gracious. The crowd's cheering gives way to horrified screams, and pandemonium breaks. Okay. Fun. So I've gathered all the cards for the encounter set. I need to just put the other locations into play. So as I said, they make a triangle. The big top, 1st ring, 2nd ring, 3rd ring. The 1st ring connects to the carousel. The big top 2nd ring connects to the animal cages. That's kind of odd, because you'd think that the animal cages would connect to the 1st ring where the animals are. I'm just, blathering at this point. Big top 1st ring also connects to the games gallery. And the performer trailers connects to the 3rd ring, which makes sense because that's where the where the clowns would be coming in from, for the most part. Okay. Let us begin. 1 night only. Skulls are -X. X is equal to the number of creature enemies in play. And then there currently are no cultist or tablets. Elder things -1, -3 instead if this test is against a creature enemy. There is a disguised monstrosity. The picture is an elephant with way too many trunks. Just way too many trunks, like Cthulhu face levels of trunks. I'll get to that in a second. Agenda 1A, the true face. 1 by 1, the circus animals mutate into horrible forms, horns and tentacles, eyes and mouths, all manifest by the dozen, each new mutation sparking fresh screams of terror from the crowd as the horrible beasts advance on the spectators. The human performers single out and grab people, quickly binding them and hauling them out of the tent. It doesn't take much imagination to think of their plans. It doesn't take much imagination to think of their plans here. Okay. 6 doom to advance. Rats in a cage. So there were 4 different Act 1As. All the fronts looked the same. Rats in a cage. As you spring up to defend yourself and the unfortunate crowd, a question rises to the front of your mind. If the circus was so careful to set this trap, would they allow the chance of some victims escaping? You glance about the entrance to the tent and curse inwardly at the sight of a towering iron fence surrounding the circus grounds completely. It could be real or another illusion, like the disguising of the circus monsters. You must find a way to escape. 4 clues to advance. All right. As I said, there is a disguised monstrosity at the first ring. I'm not at first ring. I'm at second ring. And to be clear, I picked second ring before I knew that this disguised monstrosity was going to be there. 2 per investigator health, 4 fight, 2 evade, creature, monster, abomination, elite, hunter, massive. If disguised monstrosity's location is revealed and there are no clues on it, it gets -1 fight, and each successful attack deals +1 damage. That's good to know. Forced after disguised monstrosity moves to a revealed location with no clues on it, exhaust it. Neat. Deals 4 damage and a horror, deals 1 damage, deals 1 horror, and is victory 1. I began play at the big top second ring. The second ring hosts the athletes and acrobats performing feats of strength and dexterity. With their physicality, they're likely very deadly opponents to face. Big top second ring, 2 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Moving between the big top locations does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Good to know. Forced after you discover 1 or more clues from this location, ready the nearest performer enemy and resolve its hunter keyword. The trapeze, seesaw, and other athletic equipment kept in the second ring are readily available to the circus performers. Oh, to like swing in. Got it. Okay. And my location hooks up to the other 2 big tops as well as the animal cages. Okay, this went from 0 to 60 really fast in a very kind of disgusting way. My deck is mostly assets, and I begin the game with 3 fewer resources. That's fine, I've got $2. Opening hand, that's a weakness. Opening hand, Lone Wolf, Calling in Favors, Magnifying Glass, Professor William Webb. We'll mulligan Webb. And then the 5th card is from the Circus set. Alma Rowland, the Bullseye Queen. She's rogue, ally asset, costs 4, commits 4 in agility. Ally performer drifter traded, you get +1 agility while she's in play. As an action, you can exhaust her to discard an asset you control to deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity, which I just love the idea of like, oh, I don't need this magnifying glass anymore. Throw it. I don't need this ally anymore. Throw it. Tension. So cards from this set have the tension keyword, so if you meet its requirement, then it gets buffed. And it's just a binary thing, whether or not you met it or not. So tension. If I defeat an enemy with the above action ability, when I discard an asset to pay for the above action ability, I may instead shuffle it into the shuffle the chosen asset back into my deck instead, which is lovely, and I'm going to keep her. So I'm going to just mulligan Professor Webb, which gets me a Scroll of Secrets. Great. So I'm definitely going to be... I want to get the clue off of this location, because then the monstrosity will exhaust when it hunts into here next turn. So let's get this Lone Wolf out. It cost me 1, which leaves me with $1. I want to put more things down, but I want money first. Fine, we'll put the mag glass down to get me 3 up. -1. That is a clue. So that was one action to play, one action to... let's go to the other... Let's go to the third ring of the big top. 3 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. I forgot to read the back. The third ring is where the clowns congregate with all the props and scenery they require for their antics. Can you trust such sly performers? I actually knew somebody who was a clown with the Ringling Brothers. And they went to clown college and proudly they took clowning very seriously. Apparently clowning is a very serious business. That is not a joke. I want to be clear about that. That sounds like a joke. That is not a joke. Big top third ring, 3 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Moving between the other big top locations does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Reaction: after you fail a skill test by 1 at this location, immediately take a move or evade action, limit once per round. That's great, because you slipped on a banana peel. You just barely missed. Though meant for the clown's use, the third ring seems designed to assist wild and seemingly uncontrolled movement. Yep. So I will investigate once more, 2 up. Elder Thing, -1, -3 instead if this is against a creature enemy. It is not. So I'm at 3 clues, but I'm out of actions. The disguised monstrosity will wake up. Resource and a card, Streetwise. Well, that's what it is. I just need money at this point. I knew my start was going to be slow, but I was kind of banking on it being the first mission not being terrible. 1 of 6 doom, and we draw Lost All Control. Some interesting art. Person holding their head as flame, not actually flames. It kind of looks like feathers, but just flames kind of erupting off of it. Madness, Lost All Control. Peril, attach Lost All Control to an investigator or ally asset controlled by an investigator with an ability, if possible, without a copied ability. Forced, after you activate or trigger an ability on the attached card, deal 1 direct damage or direct horror to that card. And then reaction: after a moon token is released from a card at your location, discard Lost All Control. So I cannot activate or trigger anything off of my investigator because I do not have a reaction or free trigger or action ability. So this card literally does not do anything to me. It would hurt me if it was an ally that I attached it to. I'm going to assume the language. So it says, attach Lost All Control to an investigator or ally asset controlled by any investigator, parentheses, with an ability if possible. I'm assuming the with an ability if possible applies to either the investigator or ally, not just to the grouping with the ally. That makes the most sense to me. Otherwise, I could just cheese that all day. That seems a little unfair. So I will take the victory now. Or not the victory, but the... yeah, but I don't have a reaction. My character does not have a reaction, action, free trigger, anything. Cool. Started my turn and gained $1. Thanks, Lone Wolf. You're a real pal. I kind of want to deal with the elephant, but I don't have any strength icons. I'm just going to call it an elephant. It's not an elephant. I'm going to call it an elephant. Performer trailers, which is the other thing that the big top is connected to. Minimal carts for the employee housing are set up at the fringe of the circus grounds. 3 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. Okay. Performer trailer gets +1 shroud value where there are 1 or more ready performer enemies at this location. While there are 1 or more investigators at performer trailers, each performer enemy gains prey investigators at performer trailers. 3 shroud, 2 clues, 2 per investigator clues. Victory 1. The circus performers are unlikely to appreciate you rooting through their belongings. Great. Let's investigate at 2 up. Feels pretty good. -3. Okay, well, let's investigate again. -2. That's a clue. So I have 4 clues. I could advance. I don't know if I want to. Each success. So yeah, it's when I attack the thing successfully is when I do bonus damage to it. Let's try to get this clue. I can move around. Elder thing -3. Great. -1, -3 instead if this is against a creature enemy, which it is not. So I have 5 clues. I'll advance at the start of next round. That just feels better in my mind. Disguise Monstrosity will move to the big top, which will exhaust it. I can keep this thing busy if I need to. Resource and a card. I'm at 4 resources, and I drew my signature, which is Juggler's Batons. Always in motion. 2-cost asset, commits for an intellect, agility, and a wild item tool. My deck only. Reaction after it enters play. Draw cards for each asset I control in excess of available slots. And playing this would be fast because it would be in excess of my currently available slots. And as an action, I can place Juggler's Baton at the bottom of my deck. Anything I touch, flowing like water. So it's just funny. I can, because I've got the mag glasses out, I can just throw the batons out for fast. 2 Doom, and we draw Hypnotic Gaze. Hex. Revelation, attach Hypnotic Glamour. Apologies. After attach Hypnotic Glamour to the revealed location with the most clues without another copy attached. There are currently no locations with clues. Forced, after you end your turn at the attached location, you must take 1 horror or search the bag for a moon token and seal it on your investigator card. As an action, I can test Will 3, I'm assuming at that location, because it's attached to that location, that makes sense. If you succeed, discard it. I'm going to put this at the second ring. I'm not planning on going back there anytime soon. Actually, I'll attach it to where I am. I'm leaving here. Like, immediately. So... Start of my turn, gain a resource. I'm at 5 money. That feels nice. We're going to play Alma Roland for my ally, putting me at $1. She gives me +1 agility. Yay. And then, honestly... Oh, I don't have the money for it. I'm going to spend 1 and play this Scroll of Secrets down. I'm at 0 money, but that's fine. Who needs money, especially in a deck that's all about playing assets? I'm going to look at the bottom card of my deck. It's my weakness, losing focus. My signature weakness, losing focus. We're going to discard that. I don't want that there. So I have a regular action and a Hermes action. Regular action and Hermes action. I could move and I could attack and theoretically get 1 up on the attack, but then Elder Things are -3. The bag's actually pretty nice to me at +1. And then I'm 2 up to evade it if I need to. I could also move and just discard a thing to deal it damage. Yeah, actually, we're going to do that. I'm going to move over to the big top 3rd ring where the animal is. I'm going to chuck my magnifying glass at it using Alma, which will deal a damage. Okay. And then I can kill it next turn, chucking the Scroll of Secrets at it, which will then unlock her ability so it shuffles back into my deck instead of ditching it to my discard pile. So the monstrosity will eventually wake up and engage me. Resource and a card. I'm at 1 resource, and I drew a med student, which I can play for fast. Love it. 3 doom. I forgot to advance. I'll advance this turn. Reckless Stunt. Scheme, Hazard, Test Agility 3. This gets +1 difficulty if there's a performer enemy at my location. If you fail, you must take 2 damage or lose 3 resources. I'm 1 up. I'll exhaust Scroll of Secrets. Look at the bottom card of my deck. It's a magnifying glass. That's nice. I'm 1 up. If I fail, I'll lose 3 resources. That's an Elder Sign. +1, you may swap an asset you control with an asset in your hand, paying the difference between their cost. Okay, I succeeded. But what does do I want to swap something in? I may swap it doesn't have to. I may swap an asset I control with an asset in my hand, which could change slots around. I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. First action, we're going to check the Scroll of Secrets to activate Alma. We'll activate her tension ability to kill this monstrosity, which is worth a VP. Huzzah. And then we will spend 4 clues in advance. In the Horse's Eye, it becomes apparent from the crowd alone that the entrance is not simply hidden, but gone altogether. Whatever magic was used must have physically altered the circus wall. But that also means that like the monsters, the enchantment must have been applied directly to it. You scour the circus grounds, fending off the attackers and helping those you can, until at last you uncover the hidden source, a dark, smoky orb nestled in an out-of-the-way corner. Attach the set-aside illusory locus to the carousel. Add a tablet token to the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. I would imagine, based off of how I understand this game is designed, that since there were 4 different Act 1s and there were 4 locations that were not the big top, that each one of them would send me to a different place. Okay. And I imagine 2 of them added a tablet and 2 of them added a cultist. Just guessing. Agenda 2A, Smoke and Mirrors. The smoky marble embedded near the fence seems impervious to damage. There must be some other way to dispel it. Dispel the enchantment, but what is the key? Action, choose and discard a card from your hand to release a moon token sealed on your investigator card, limit once per round. If there are 2 per investigator or more clues on the illusory locus, advance. Okay, so it went to the carousel, which is the furthest location from me. That's tied for the furthest location from me. It's on the opposite side of the map, more or less. Carousel. Among the many attractions set up by the traveling circus to amuse visitors, the painted carousel is frequently a delight. I'm not moving to there. I just decided to read, I don't know, I picked up both, but I read the flavor text. Illusory Locus, that's what we're reading. Action. Reveal 4 random tokens from the chaos bag. If you reveal a bless or curse token, ignore it and reveal another token. Investigators at your location may spend any amount of clues as a group to reveal 4 additional tokens for each clue spent. For each moon revealed, add 1 clue to a illusory locus from the token bank. Any investigator at the attachment location may activate this ability. Great. And since it's not during a test, it won't attach to me. So I'm going to Hermes action to the big top, first ring. The first ring is frequently the site for animal acts to perform, elephants, lions, and tigers, dancing bears, and yet others, or perhaps not as they seem. 1 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Same text about moving between the big tops doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Forced after you discover one or more clues from this location, ready the nearest creature or monster enemy and resolve its hunter keyword. Don't care, but thank you. The circus beasts, if beasts they really are, have been trained to gather at the first ring. So I'm going to spend a resource to... Well, I gained a resource at the beginning of my turn that I forgot to mention. I'm going to spend a resource to fast, put a magnifying glass down. And I'm 4 up. That's a 0. Get a clue, putting me at 2 clues. So I threw my scroll of secrets at the elephant. I moved, I investigated, so let's move to the carousel. I already read the back of the carousel. 3 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Reaction, when there are no clues on carousel, it gains reaction after you move to carousel. Move to a connecting location, limit once per round. Okay, I like that too, that's fun. Some familiarity with the carousel should allow you to use its motion for your own benefit. So I can start working on advancing next turn. Enemy phase, nothing. Resource and a card. Art student. So I've got 2 resources. Streetwise, calling in favors, medical student, juggler's baton, art student. I just need more money. The 3 resource at the beginning of the game did hurt. 4 doom, and we draw New Moon Clown. 2 shroud, 4 fight, 2 evade, humanoid performer, hunter, retaliate. New Moon Clown gets +1 evade for each moon token sealed on an investigator card at its location. Reaction, after you successfully evade New Moon Clown by 2 or more, heal 1 horror and shuffle New Moon Clown back into the encounter deck, deals a damage and a horror. The flavor text is, "What are you laughing at?" I mean this as nicely as possible. The art chosen kind of it's like a clown in with like a blue ascot with yellow dots, wearing like a suit coat or like a brown suit coat, and it kind of looks like Charlie Kane, but dressed up as a clown as he sits there with his cigar. Just kind of love it. I'm going to attempt to evade the New Moon Clown. I'm 2 up. +1. Great. I heal a horror. I have no horror to heal. Because I successfully evaded it by 2 or more, I would heal a horror, but I cannot, and it gets shuffled back into the deck. So, goodbye me. So as an action, I am going to reveal 4 tokens from the Chaos Bag. I may spend any number of clues as a group. I will spend 2 clues, so I will be revealing 12 tokens. There's 1 moon, 2 moon. I will keep drawing just in case it's relevant as I draw 12 tokens. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I found 2 moons, which puts add 1 clue to illusory locus, and then because there are two per investigator or more clues on illusory locus, I advance. So I have a regular action and a Hermes action. Scientific method, Act 2B. You scrutinize the orb carefully and notice that whenever clouds cover or uncover the moon, the illusions around you fluctuate. Though equally strong when the moon is visible or not, the spell must account for the changing visibility like the alternating current of electricity. By applying direct pressure on the orb when the moonlight is changing, you stress the magic until at last the bauble cracks. The illusions around you waver, and at the north end of the circus grounds, the entryway reappears. Remove illusory locus from the game. Put the set aside circus gates, path to freedom into play. Okay. While I grab that, Act 3A, out and away. The circus exit is visible. Seize the chance to escape before further complications. This is the last act. Action, choose and discard 2 cards from your hand to release a moon token sealed on your investigator card, and we just need to leave. I literally could leave right now. I don't want to because there's still 2 more agendas. So I kind of just want to... I kind of just want to poke around and see if there's any more VP. So let's well, there's not. This isn't a VP location, but it can help me. Oh, and the map makes like a big tent look. That's also nice. I like that. This is the little touches. I'm going to investigate 2 up. Skull minus X. X equals number of creature enemies in play. There are none. So I'll get this clue. It's not worth VP or anything here, but now when there are no clues on it, I can now move into it and then move through it. So let's go to the animal cages. 5 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. What's the back say? The iron-barred wagons for the circus animals are sturdily built, far more than need be for even the largest of them. 5 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. Animal cages gets -1 shroud for each moon token sealed on player cards at its location, to a minimum of 1. There are only 3. Oh, I guess if you had other things that were stacking it. The cages for the horde creatures are dark, but filled with traces of magic. Unfortunately, I'm only even to investigate at the moment. I do believe I forgot to give myself a resource at the start of this with Lone Wolf, because I usually exhaust Lone Wolf to signify that I did that. So that's it for me. Resource and a card. Drew another med student. Haven't taken damage or horror. 5 doom, and we draw terrified captives. They're an asset. Attach terrified captives to any location without an investigator, unrevealed if possible. So to the games gallery. The current agenda gets -1 doom threshold. That's doesn't change anything. We're in the witching hour anyway. As an action, test strength or agility 4. This test gets -1 difficulty if you control a tool asset. Yes, my magnifying glasses will help. If you succeed, move them to the victory display. They are worth victory 1. So there is nothing... The pressing thing about them is they reduce my doom threshold, but because I don't care about my doom threshold at the moment, I'll get to you in a minute. That's the easy way of me putting this. I'll get to you in a minute. So gain a resource from Lone Wolf. I'm at 5 resources. That's nice. I'm going to play Med Student. Cost me 2, but it's at fast. And I would heal a damage and a horror from myself or an ally asset at my location, but there has been no damage or horror put on anything yet. So I'm instead going to play Calling in Favors as my first real action to search the top 9 cards in my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I was hoping for the only ally, surprisingly. Well, I could take Professor William Webb, but I don't really want Professor William Webb. I was hoping for an art student, if I'm being honest. So I will return medical student to my hand and put lab assistant into play, which increases my hand size by 2 and draws me 2 cards, which got me Professor William Webb and a Spotlight. Spotlight is a new card in the Circus set. It costs 3, and after it enters play, reduce the location shroud value by 2 until the end of your turn, and when the last clue is gained from my location, I get +1 intellect. Where is that thing even plugged in? That's good. Takes up the accessory slot. Speaking as someone who has used... Like, I used to do theater tech work. I'm just finding it funny to be walking around with this giant theater lamp, especially knowing how hot they get, even today. Okay, so lab assistant didn't do me what I wanted to. I am a fool. I am a fool. I'm going to undo a whole bunch of stuff because I had an art student in hand. I didn't realize I had an art student in hand. So let me give me my dollar back. Put the lab assistant back in hand. No. Put the lab assistant, the spotlight, and Webb back into the deck. Because that's what I would have just done, is like, oh yeah, I just have the thing I wanted. Why did I I'm sorry. Just me being silly. Hey, look. Fast, get a clue. Magic. It's what I wanted to do. So, first real action, we're going to play Streetwise. I'm going to spend $2 with Streetwise to investigate at 7 to 5. 7 to 5. Zero. Another clue. Great. That was 2 actions because the art student was fast. We're going to move to the carousel, which lets me move immediately to the games gallery, which is the last location other than the circus gates that I haven't been to. Games gallery. This row of tents and booths boasts shooting ranges, strength testers, and other games of skill. 4 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. While there are no clues on Games Gallery, it gains action. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for an item asset and draw it. Limit once per game. There's a good chance that some of the tools and materials used in the booths could be of use to you. Probably. So Art Student was fast. I played Streetwise. I investigated. I Hermes moved to the carousel, which moved me to the Games Gallery. So I might as well test to save these bystanders. I'm at 1 resource now. Let's be honest, I'm not playing with batons. The batons are good, but I'm not playing them anytime soon. So I will commit that to be 6 to 3. 6 to 3. Skull is a -0. So that's a VP. Where did I put the... I was confused where I put the elephant that I took out. Great. Yeah, okay. I'm just like VP hunting at this point. At the beginning of upkeep, I discard the art student, resource, and a card for my second Streetwise. That's just good for committing. We hit 6 of 6 Doom, and we advance. 2 by 2. Another discordant trumpet rattles the air as a second elephantine horror bursts forth, trampling and gorging with its twisted horn. Spawn the set-aside disguised monstrosity at any copy of Big Top. Because there's a second one that I put off. Agenda 2A, House of Horrors. The minutes lengthen as the violence and abductions continue unabated. The chaos has not lessened a bit, and with more horrors unleashed by the second, what is it all amounting to? 5 Doom to advance, and after it moves to a location with a revealed location with no clues, exhausted, so it spawns ready. My encounter card is another set of terrified captives attached to any location without an investigator, unrevealed if possible. You're going to go to the circus gates because it's the only unrevealed location. Kind of want to beat up this disguised monstrosity. I don't have any strength. At the start of my turn, I'm going to gain a resource. Let's move to the circus gates. It almost looks too good to be true, but this is no illusion. Circus gates, path to freedom. 1 shroud, 0 clues. Action: if there are no moon tokens sealed on your investigator card, you escape the illusion, isolating the circus. The illusory power still tries to keep you from escaping the clutches of the circus. So the moon's tied. Yeah, I mean, obviously the moon is tied to the illusion, but just like it is mechanically and thematically representing that it's not letting me go. I'm going to attempt to break out the people. I'm going to commit Streetwise to this from hand to be 5 to 3. 2 up's pretty good. Tablet, -2. If you fail, move once towards the nearest Big Top location. No, I did not fail. I will put you in the victory display, though. I just want to beat up this monstrosity. I think that's it for VP. I think, because there's just no VP elsewhere. So I moved. I got you. I'll draw a card. muscle memory. I'll draw muscle memories from this set, from the Circus set. 0 cost event, strength and agility. Tactic traded. Fast. Play after investigator your location plays an asset. That investigator may immediately play another asset at -1 cost. If you think that's impressive, wait until I get the other 3 out. And then I will just draw a card for my last action, which is another calling in favors. Great. The elephant moves up here and it exhausts because there's just nothing. There's no clues here. Great. Drew another calling in favors, and I go to 4 resources. 1 of 5 doom, and I draw Lost All Control, which will attach to Alma. So after I activate, I must either deal a direct damage or direct horror to that card. Okay. That's good to know, as I'm totally going to cheat this system. Gain a resource with Lone Wolf. I'm going to try punching you first. Let's try punching you first. I'm at 1 up. Which is decent, not great. Elder Thing, -3 instead if this is against a creature enemy. It is. So I failed. It's fine. I'm going to exhaust Alma and deal her a direct damage. Ow. To chuck this magnifying glass at the disguised monstrosity, dealing it a damage. Then I'm going to fast, spend 2 resources, and play Medical Student to heal Alma. I didn't need to, but I wanted to. And then we're going to Calling in Favors. Spend 1 to play Calling in Favors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm actually looking for Lab Assistant. Great, found you. Med Student goes back to hand. Lab Assistant goes out. And this is stupid. I like it, but this is stupid. It's not broken, it's just silly. And then I'm going to draw 2 cards, which gets me a Spotlight and Professor William Webb. Great. So I actually used Alma's ability. I tried to punch and I failed. I used Alma's ability, and I played Calling in Favors. So that's it for me. Enemy phase, nothing. Resource and a card. I drew a Segmented Lens. This is from the Circus set. 2 cost asset, commits for an agility. Reaction, it's an item and tool. Reaction after it enters play. Look at the top X cards of your deck, where X is your location's printed shroud value. Put them back on your deck in any order of your choice. Tension, you discover 4 more clues if you discover 4 more clues during your turn, you get the tension on this one, which makes it a fast exhaust segmented lens to look at the top card of any player's deck or the encounter deck. Honestly, it's here to be a fast 2 cost look at the top cards of a deck and reorder them. Look at my deck and reorder them, which just sounded nice. It might not last. All right. We go to 2 Doom of 5, and I draw a Hypnotic Glamour attached to the reveal location with the most clues. Games Gallery. It's the only place with clues. And I had to ditch my laboratory assistant. Oh no. I'm going to fast put down this magnifying glass, and then I'm going to chuck it at this elephant, which will return it back to my hand, defeating this elephant. Every location is revealed. I have the 2 victory locations. I saved 2 people, and I think there's only when I saw that there were assets in the encounter set that I grabbed, I was like, oh, am I supposed to set these aside or not? And there were only 2. There were only 2 monstrosities. I think I have all the VP. So I dealt the damage to Alma because I had to, because I've lost all control, but I'll just resign. Unenchanted. You waste little time in rushing through the circus gates to free. No, I meandered. Alongside as many other trapped spectators you could find. If you never see the New Moon Circus again, it'll be too soon. R2. Well, I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing the New Moon Circus again real soon. R2. I just looked at it. Yeah, R2. I got myself confused. You tread swiftly out onto the dry dirt path leading up to the circus with dozens of frightened survivors close behind you. Well clear of the carnage and kidnapping for the moment, you advise the crowd to return to Arkham as fast as they can and inform the police. The Arkham brass aren't the most reliable, but even the magic tricks of the circus won't be able to cover this one up. As the victims return to safety, your thoughts turn back to the circus still looming behind you. What was it all for? People capable of controlling those horrid beasts and wielding that hypnotic magic wouldn't organize all of this just out of pure malice. Wouldn't they? Considering Minnie's report of the sudden trek north to Arkham as well, there has to be some deliberate purpose behind the chaos tonight. But what? I mean, let's be totally fair. We might be the biggest city, but we're still more backwater than where circuses normally go. So I think it's a little presumptuous to say that, Arkham is the special destination that this has all been building towards. Just saying, Minnie, get a little over yourself. The ringmaster, Sylvester Blake, is sure to have the answers to everything. A man of his stark and menacing appearance shouldn't be hard to lose track of, but he disappeared shortly after the chaos began. Likely more of the circus illusions at work. Does he not want to do his own dirty work, or does he have other reasons for staying aloof? Time will tell as you intend to confront the man yet. Record that the ringmaster has his eye on you and proceed to resolution 3. A nearby scream sends a jolt of adrenaline through your system once more, and you advance into the tree line. A young boy struggles in the grip of another circus performer, a thin man with angular features, who is attempting to drag the boy possibly deeper into the woods. A twig cracking under your foot in the approach, and the abductor snaps his head towards you for barely a second before he abandons his prey and retreats into the forest. The boy scrabbles back against a tree, and only once you introduce yourself calmly does he visibly settle. You tell him, to be fair, I am a circus performer, so I can get why he's a little wary of me. You tell him to get back to Arkham without delay, and he does, only giving a mumbled thank you as he runs off. One down, dozens to go. You turn your attention back to the moonlit trees. Most people avoid the Arkham Woods during the day, to say nothing of its dangers at night, but you have little choice. The circus performers must have kidnapped dozens of people during the bedlam, and if you don't rescue the victims tonight before the circus has a chance to leave, then they're as good as dead, and whatever foul mission the circus pursues will be that much closer to fruition. You summon your strength and courage for the long road ahead. Each investigator earns victory X value of each card in the victory display, which is 6. And then proceed to scenario 2, the Primrose Path. Okay, you got my attention. I'm liking this deck. It's a little weird right now. I'm hoping to iron that out a bit. But you have my attention. Welcome back, scholars, to the second scenario of Circus Ex Mortis, the Primrose Path. Stories have long been told and retold in Arkham about the strange and mystical things lurking in it. Witches, demons, humanoid beasts, the list goes on. Any one of those would be reason not to venture into the woods at night, but since you're already chancing things with the circus and its monsters, there's not much left to hold you back. The full moon lends an eerie brightness to the woods, in spite of the light it casts for your task ahead. The same atmosphere of illusory magic that you saw at the circus grounds lingers between the trees. No doubt the circus has taken precautions to veil themselves from the prying outsiders, and you wonder how they and the moon align. You intend to discover the answers tonight, but until then you must decide how you will proceed into the mystical forest. The investigators must decide. We'll use the moonlight to our advantage. If there is a tablet in the chaos bag, remove it and add a cultist token. Or we'll stick to the shadows as much as possible. If there is a cultist token in the chaos bag, remove it and add a tablet. I don't like the way that they're like, oh yeah, you can see the magic of the moonlight. I'm like, yeah, no. We're gonna stick to the shadows. If there is a cultist token in the bag, there is not. There is no cultist to begin with, and I got a tablet in the last scenario. So I've set up the scenario as suggested. We get 1 per investigator doom to start. Now, I'm a little confused. I haven't really looked at the map that much. I just set it up pursuant to the image. So let's start at the top of the board and go down. Primrose path, easy standard. Skulls are -X, X equal to the number of locations connected to Circus encampment. Currently, that's 3. That's a question mark right now because Circus encampment is connected to 5 other locations, and looking at the symbols, only 3 of them are currently on the board. Or three other symbols worth of locations. We have no cultists, so let's just skip to tablets. Tablets are -2. If there are 1 or more moon tokens sealed on your investigator card, lose an action. Just out of curiosity, what is the cultist? -3. If there are no moon tokens sealed on your investigator card, lose an action. So it's rewarding me for holding on to the moon. Yeah, no, I'm very happy with my decision. Elder Things -2. If a moon token was revealed during this test, it automatically fails instead. Noted. Agenda 1A, Savage Nature. While you must contend with the illusions saturating the woods, you wish that was the worst of your problems. Bestial howls and the sounds of disturbed underbrush echo around you and far too close for your liking. If the circus has also loosed their monstrosities to stalk the woods, you're in for a grueling time. So adjacent copies of Moonlit Forest are connected to one another. Great, that's good to know. Act 1A, Forest of Illusion. No matter what angle you approach the camp from, the lights stay the same distance away. There must be a way to dispel the illusions. Fast, if you are at a woods location, investigators can spend 1 per investigator clues as a group to treat your location's printed text box as if it were blank, except for traits and Victory X for the remainder of the game. Place a horror on that location as a reminder. Okay. Objective. If each undefeated investigator is at Circus encampment, you may advance. I forgot to check where I start. Each investigator begins play at Forest Passage. Okay. So, okay. I'm figuring this out in real time. So, Forest Passage is in the center of a 3x3 grid. Every other location, other than the center, is a moonlit forest. There were 10 copies of Moonlit Forest, and I removed 2 as it instructed. It's more than just remove 2 at random, but just like I removed 2 and then put the rest out. So that's what I know. Forest Passage. A single beaten path winds through the trees, sometimes breaking off for yards at a time. 2 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Fast, place 1 of your clues on Forest Passage to look at the revealed side of any copy of Moonlit Forest. Don't let the path out of your sight. Okay. Moonlit Forest hooks up to Circus encampment, but Circus encampment has investigators cannot enter Circus encampment if there are fewer than 5 locations connected to it. Okay. Currently there are 3. The flavor text on Circus encampment. The distant lights of the circus tents are clearly visible, so why does every route lead away from it? So Circus encampment is to the top of the 3x3 grid. Just kind of generally to the top of the 3x3 grid. It's not in the 3x3 grid, it's just sitting up atop the 3x3 grid. To the right side of the 3x3 grid, not part of the 3x3 grid, is the remote cabin. Remote cabin is connected to the 3 rightmost copies of Moonlit Forest and vice versa. Okay, that makes sense to me. Investigators cannot enter remote cabin while there is fewer than 2 damage on it. Sure, I don't know how you put damage on it, but sure. An abandoned house lies nestled in the nearby woods, but protected from approach by the magic around it. And let me guess, the one on the left side that is not part of the 3x3 grid works similarly. Woodland Overlook. Woodland Overlook is connected to the three leftmost copies of Moonlit Forest, and vice versa. Investigators cannot enter Woodland Overlook while there are fewer than 2 damage on it. All right, seeing a trend. A single cliff rises above the tree line. It would be a great vantage point if you can find a way up to it. Okay, interesting to note. I lied. And by that I mean I misunderstood. Circus Encampment is currently only connected to the forest passage. The Woodland Overlook and the remote cabin both have symbols that the Circus Encampment is connected to, but currently do not link back. So, right now, skulls are -1. Okay. So, adjacent copies of Moonlit Forest are connected to each other. So, I'm basically just living in a 3x3 grid, except Forest Passage. Every Moonlit Forest is connected to Forest Passage, and vice versa. So, I can go to any part of the forest, to the Moonlit Forest, as I want to. Oh, let's just read the backside of Moonlit Forest while we're here. Moonlit Forest. Blanched by the moonlight, the details of each tree blend together and give opportunities to lurking threats. Joy. So, let me reread fast. If you're at a woods location, which everything is woods traded except for the forest passage, which is path traded, and the circus encampment. Okay. If you are at a woods location, we can spend 1 per investigator clues as a group to treat your location's printed text box as if it were blank, except for traits, and Victory X for the remainder of the game. I can blank woods, but I can only blank woods that I'm at. Okay, I had 6 XP. I bought myself an upgraded Streetwise, an upgraded magnifying glass, and I got 2 level 1 ice picks. I just kind of want fast, cheap items right now that just help me do what I want to do, and they help me fight if I need to fight. Might upgrade them, might not upgrade them. I don't have a lot of scavenging options with this build. But yeah, Streetwise, 1 my magnifying glass, and 2 ice picks. Opening hand, I swear I put them into 2 different parts of my deck, but I got both ice picks, a Scroll of Secrets, a segmented lens, and a medical student. I'm going to ditch the medical student for now, and 1 ice pick for now to draw my juggler's batons and an art student. Okay, that's not terrible. All right. Also, Forest Passage, I can't remember if I read this, but fast. Place 1 per investigator clues onto Forest Passage. Look the revealed side of any copy of Moonlit Forest. Okay, does that mean that some of these are traps? I don't know if these are traps. There are things stalking the forest, theoretically. I don't know. I just work here. Okay. Okay. What am I doing with my life? Also, my maximum hand size, due to the Hermit being reversed, is reduced by 3. So my max hand size is 5. Let's put an ice pick down. That cost me 1. It did not cost me an action. Let's actually put down a Scroll of Secrets and look at the bottom card of my deck, which is a magnifying glass. I will gladly accept this magnifying glass. Your offer is appreciated. And 2 secrets left on the Scroll of Secrets. I still have the ice pick. I still have 2 regular actions and a Hermes action. Yeah, that's fine. Let's investigate. I'll exhaust ice picks to be 3 up. Automatic failure. Okay. Let's try that again. 2 up. -4. Okay, game, you don't like me right now. That is the terms of our relationship at the moment, is you don't like me. That's fine, I accept this. I don't really want to move right now. I like my location being kind of a lower shroud for now. So I'll forfeit the Hermes, resource, and a card. Ooh, burning the Midnight Oil. So 4 resources. Burning the Midnight Oil, magnifying glass level 0. Art student, juggler's baton, segmented lens. Ready everything. 2 of 7 doom, because we started with 1 per investigator doom. I shuffled this already, but just to make me feel better, let's shuffle it again. And top of the deck is Hypnotic Glamour. Attach Hypnotic Glamour to the revealed location with the most clues without another copy attached. Force after you end your turn here, you must take 1 horror or search the bag for a moon and seal on your investigator card. Which, if you're going with the use the moonlight option, is a good thing. Test Will 3 as an action. If you succeed, discard it. I'm hoping not to be here in a minute. Let's go ahead and use Scroll of Secrets. Hey, it's a Colt Vest Pocket. I'll take you. Love filtered card draw, but now I'm at 6 cards in hand. So I'll need to use things. So action the first. Burning the Midnight Oil. Gain 2 resources, and I'm going to investigate. I will use my ice pick. +1. Great. That's a clue. And then I need clues to blank woods locations, which is a thing I apparently want to do, but Hermes action into the middle row, the middle east, the middle right side location. Moonlit Forest, Dead Grove. 3 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. Each moon token revealed at this location and each adjacent location. I'm sorry. 3 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. Each moon token revealed at this location and each adjacent location of Moonlit Forest. I'm assuming it means explicitly this Moonlit Forest. Gains take a damage. An air of decay permeates the surrounding area. Victory 1. Fast, if I'm at a woods location, I can spend 1 per investigator clues as a group to blank the text box. Yes, I am spending my 1 clue and blanking this text box. I don't want random damage from things. So I investigated, I moved. Let's throw down an art student for 2 cost. 1, 2, just to get a free clue. Never bad thing. Puts me at 4 cards. I kind of want to use Scroll of Secrets for the draw 1 more time just to help me keep going, and then I'll easily replace it next turn. I could throw this segmented lens down and get to look at the top 3 cards of my deck and put them back in any order. That also doesn't sound terrible. I have $4. I'm a little low on money for what I want. I'm 1 up. I'm 1 up on... I'm 1 up on investigating right now. I could just fast in the mag glass. And lose out on the Scroll of Secrets. That's not the worst. It puts me 2 up, which is pretty okay. I'm just thinking right now, sorry. So I investigated, I moved, I played art students. So I have 1 regular action left. I don't -2 if there were 1 or more. Nothing really hurts me right now. Yeah, let's just investigate 1 up. Nothing hurts me. 0. Great. Got all the clues off this location. All that all that pondering for ultimately very simple. Resource and a card. Another segmented lens. Interesting. Okay. Ready everything. Art student's just here to die or be a target for something like a calling in favors or something. 3 doom. Lunar Influence. Test Will 3. This test gets +1 difficulty for each moon token sealed on your investigator card. If you fail, discard a card from your hand at random. If you fail by 2 or more, lose an action. Well, I do not have any will in hand. I've got a single wild, but that feels like a waste. I'm going to fast use Scroll of Secrets. Is there a will at the bottom of my deck? It is not a will. It's a weakness. Diffident. Flaw. Put into play my threat area. You cannot take draw or resource actions after your first one. Double action, get rid of it. Nah, screw that. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm 1 down, which means I'm probably going to fail by 2 or more, and there's just not much I can do about it. Elder Thing, -2. If a moon token was revealed, it was not. So I must discard a card at random from my hand, and then I lose an action. And as I've previously decreed, if I lose an action, I decreed, so the way that I did is it eats my, because it eats specific actions first, but I ruled that I cannot use the Hermes action for costs, like double action costs. I lost my Cult Vest pocket. That kind of stinks. That's a great way to deal with enemies. So I have 3 regular actions because I don't have a Hermes action. So let's move south because they're all connected to each other. 2 Shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Forced after you reveal this location, place 1 damage on remote cabin. Convenient. As an additional cost to move from this location to any other woods location, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Hex Treachery and draw it. Shuffle the encounter deck if this was searched. I will spend 1 of my 2 clues and blank this because that is just annoying. Let's drop a Mag Glass for fast. It was already fast, but now I've got 3 things in my hand slots. And let's investigate using Mag Glass at 3 up. I'll save Ice Pick for now. Elder Sign. I may swap an asset I control with an asset in my hand, paying the difference in the cost. I will spend 1 to put this segmented lens into play to take my Scroll of Secrets back, because I love that card. And then I can look at the top 2 cards of my deck, which are Disappearing Coins, which I didn't have last time. 1 cost asset, Ritual Illicit, uses 1 charge. Charges on Disappearing Coins may be spent to pay for assets and events. Reaction after investigating your location spends 3 or more resources. At once, I can add a charge to Disappearing Coins, specifically if I spend resources, not the money off Disappearing Coins. And then Tension, if I spend 4 more resources at once, I can reduce the resource requirement to the above ability by 2. Part of this is in the deck, so it can just start paying for my things a little bit easier, but also it lets me juice up streetwise. So I'm actually going to leave both of those in the top with the other one being my fancy ally, Alma Roland. So I'm actually going to just leave the 2 of them at the top of the deck like they are, with the coins first and then the thing. But I got a clue, which was nice. So I moved, I got a clue. And then I guess I will... I've got 3 resources. I'm going to want to build up money a little bit for things. I moved, I got a clue. Let's move to the middle bottom of the 3x3 grid. Misty Marsh, 3 Shroud, 2 per investigator clues. This location loses its moon symbol. As an additional cost to activate the fast ability on this location, or on the act for this location, search the Chaos Bag for a moon token and seal it on your investigator card. You dare not follow the lights into this marshy ground. Okay. Neat. Enemy phase nothing. Resource and card. Hey, look, it's Disappearing Coins. 4 of 7 Doom, Dense Tangle. Put into play next to the agenda deck. After you move to a location that is not the leftmost connection symbol printed on your previous location, lose 1 action. At the end of the round, discard 1 copy of Dense Tangle. That's neat. It's using part of card anatomy that just has never been used before. Neat. Gold star. Oh, I needed to ditch my segmented lens last round. I forgot to do that. So let's go ahead and spend a resource to put disappearing coins down. And then let's investigate. I'll use Ice Pick and be 6 to 3. That's a skull, which is a -1. That's a clue, putting me at 3 clues. Let's try that again. This time only at +1 because of the standard magnifying glass. Sorry, +2 because of the magnifying glass. And I found a skull, which is a -1. So I've got 4 clues. And it would be nice if I could blank this, because I think I need to blank this. Let me refresh my memory on moon tokens. At the end of the round, for each moon token sealed on you, it either remains sealed or I take a damage or horror. Not direct. So yeah, I will add a moon to my investigator card. There's 1. To activate the above ability and spend a clue to blank this location. So I've got 3 clues and I blank the location. So I got a clue. So I played Disappearing Coins. That actually just straight up took an action. And then I got a clue and I got another clue. So I got a Hermes action. Let's move to the bottom left Moonlit Forest, which would lose an action, but I have no actions to lose. 3 Shroud, 2 per investigator clue. Same thing about this one. This location loses its moon connection, which this is the Circular Grove. I cannot activate the above action ability on this act. The above action ability on the act at this location while there are 1 or more clues at this location. A particularly strong enchantment lingers in the grove. So I'll clean you up next turn. As I resource and a card, and I'll put a horror. Put a horror on the art student. I mean, she's fleeting anyway. Thanks, art student. You're a pal. Hey, look, Alma. The ally that I want out, generally. 5 of 7 Doom, Dense Tangle is discarded. And I took a horror, so the moon goes back to the bag. Oh, Ominous Moonlight. Search the Chaos token, or the Chaos bag for a moon. And seal it on your investigator card. There's 1. Moon. It surges as well. The flavor text is, I hate the moon. I'm afraid of it. For when it shines on certain scenes familiar and loved, it sometimes makes them unfamiliar and hideous. That surges into Endless Spawn. Attach Endless Spawn to your location. Force at the end of the round if there are no enemies at this location. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a monster enemy and spawn to the attached location. Shuffle the encounter deck if it was searched as an action. Test agility 3. If you succeed, either discard Endless Spawn. If you succeed, sorry, not either, just discard Endless Spawn. And then you may search the Chaos bag for a moon token and seal it on your investigator card to automatically succeed. I'm going to commit Juggler's Baton. No, let's be smart about this. I'm going to fast put Alma out, actually spending 4 resources. This is important because now I've spent 4 more resources at once. So now every time that I spend resources, I get to put a charge on Disappearing Coins. Charges on Disappearing Coins may be spent to be playing assets and events. Great. My agility is now straight up 4. I'm going to commit Juggler's Batons to be 3 up. That's a moon, which is a 0 in seal. And draw another, which is a skull, -2. I succeed. I have 2 of the 3 moons on me. That's not what I wanted, but it's fine. That was my first real action. So let's investigate. I'm going to exhaust Ice Pick for this first one to be 3 up, -2. That's a clue, putting me at 4 clues. And then I will investigate again at 2 up. Elder Thing, -2. If a moon token was revealed, it was not. So I got both of these. I will spend the clue that I just got to blank this location. So played you for fast, got rid of the thing as my first action, investigated twice. Keep on keeping on. Middle left location of the 3x3 grid is the Moonlit Forest, Glassy Lake. After you reveal this location, put 1 damage on the Woodland Overlook. Okay. As an additional cost to move from this location to any other woods location, search the bag for a moon and seal it on your card. I'm just going to spend a clue and blank that, because it's not limited once per round for me just to blank everything. And I don't want to blank, I don't want to deal with that. 1 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. Great. During upkeep, I'm going to lose, well, at the start of upkeep, I'm going to return both of these moons to the bag to take, let's see, I had my dials wrong. My max is 8 sanity, 6 health, 8 sanity. I'm going to take 2 horror on myself. And actually, we're going to make that a damage and a horror, just in case I get my med student. You know, just nice to balance out a little bit. And then during upkeep, at the start of upkeep, I also get rid of the... Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. At the end of the round, it's at the end of the round I resolve the thing. So I can't... So I took the damage and horror at the end of the round. Oopsie poopsie. Gain a resource and a card 8. It's another magnifying glass. It's magnifying glass level 0 or level 1. But my art student isn't around for the purposes of soak, which is what I was mostly curious about. So yeah. 6 of 7 Doom. Feral Impulses, put into play next to the agenda deck. When the Mythos phase begin, each investigator with 1 or more moon tokens sealed on their investigator card chooses and discards an asset they control. Discard Feral Impulses max once per round. It's not a then, so it's just if I have next round, it'll discard itself, is how I read that, because it's not then. And then if I have a moon sealed on me, I would lose it. Or I would lose an asset I control. Okay. I'm going to investigate at 5 to 1. 0. Got a clue. Putting me at 4 clues. Move up north. So I'm in the upper left location. 1 shroud, 1 per investigator clues. After you reveal this location, put a damage on remote cabin. So I can now enter remote cabin. As an additional cost to move from this location to any other woods location, search the encounter deck and discard paw for enemy, spawn it. No, thank you. Spend it, cancel it, blank it. Don't want it. Let's investigate once more. And tablet -2 if there are 1 or more moon sealed on me. There is not. So I got the clue. So I investigated, moved, investigated. Let's move to the middle top. Labyrinth of Trees, 3 shroud, 2 per investigator clues. Force when an investigator at an adjacent copy of Moonlit moves to a location other than this location, that investigator discards a card from their hand at random. I will spend one of my 4 clues to blank that, just because it can hurt me and I just don't want to deal with it. I am going to spend 1 and 1 off disappearing coins to fast put down a scroll of secrets and look at the bottom card of my deck, which is a medical student. Nice. I wasn't actually expecting to find you. That leaves 2 things on scroll of secrets. I'm going to lose my level 0 magnifying glass. I'm fine with this. Level 0 magnifying glass discarded. And resource and a card. Colt Vest Pocket. We go to 7 of 7 Doom. When the Mythos phase begins, I would be dinged if I had a thing, but I don't. Never revealed. Agenda 1B. Amid your struggles to navigate the woods, you keep an eye frequently trained to the lights of the distant circus camp. Looking this time, however, the silhouette of a lone figure briefly obscures it before vanishing from view. Your meddling with the illusions has not gone unnoticed. Spawn the set-aside New Moon Illusionist at Circus Encampment. New Moon Illusionist. 4 per investigator, health, 3 fight, 3 evade, humanoid, performer, elite, hunter, aloof. The first hex treachery drawn each round by each investigator at his location gains, and each connecting woods location gains surge. I am not connected to him currently. While New Moon Illusionist is exhausted, it loses aloof. A rule that I usually ignore. If something's aloof and I exhaust it, it's just like, yeah, just beat it up. I know that's not actually how it's written, but it's just less fiddly and makes more sense to me generally. Victory 1, 1 horror when they do damage. Or when they attack. Agenda 2A, Blood Moon, with the circus taking active measures to keep you from your goal. There's only so long you can simply keep the opposing forces at stalemate. With each passing moment, a new frenzied cry bellows through the woods, marking another creature out for your blood. Adjacent copies of Moonlit Forest are still connected to one another. 9 Doom to advance. All right, keep it simple, but I only have 1 Moonlit Forest not yet revealed, which means I can pretty easily get to where I need to. Moonlit Illusion, or Moonlight Illusion. Hex, test will or agility 3. This gets +1 difficulty for each moon token, on me. If you fail, place 1 of your clues on your location and move to a connecting woods location. I'll commit a segmented lens to be... Well, what's the bottom card of my deck? It's an ice pick. I'll take that. I'll commit the segmented lens still to be 2 up. That's a moon. That's a +1. Well, I got a moon. It's not what I wanted, but I got it. Great. We're going to fast put down a magnifying glass. And that cost me nothing, because it's the upgraded one. And we're going to investigate at 2 up, 3 up with ice pick. Tablet -2. Got a clue. Putting me back at 4 clues. Let's investigate again. This time just 2 up. -2. Perfect. That's all the clues from this location. I'm going to return the magnifying glass to my hand so I don't discard it at the end of the round. And then Hermes on over to the last Moonlit Forest. The Shallow River. 2 shroud, 1 per investigator clue. Forced, after you reveal this location, put a damage on the overlook. Great. As additional cost to move out of. Don't care. I'm going to spend 1 of my 5 clues to put a thing on it. I'm just going to make sure my count is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I have now spent 8 clues. So yeah, I've got 4. Exactly right. Perfect. And for my last action, we will investigate at 3 up, which is perfect. Moon. That's not what I wanted, game. And Elder Sign. I may swap a thing paying its cost. I don't want to, but thank you for your consideration. I just don't love the double moon on me right now. That kind of not my favorite. I got the clue. That's nice. I'm out of actions, but I could fast stuff still. I could fast something. I'm going to fast the medical student down. I'm going to spend 1 from disappearing coins and 1 of my own dollars, which will put a thing on disappearing coins. She comes into play. I heal a damage and a horror, but I'm going to just take that damage and horror again at the end of the round with the who's a what's it. Resource and a card after discarding the med student. Lab assistant. Man, I love these allies. They're so great. Ready everything. You hunted to the forest passage, let's say, and I kind of want to beat you up. It'd be nice if I could beat you up. I mean, you're worth victory. I am adjacent to you now. That's not great. 1 of 9 doom, and I draw a blunder, which is not a hex, so you don't trigger. If there is no copy of Lost the Trail in your threat area, put it into play in your threat area. Otherwise, it gains surge as initial cost to move from your location. Reveal a random chaos token. If I reveal a skull, cultist, tablet, elder thing, auto fail, or moon token, instead move to a different connecting location. As a double action, discard Lost the Trail. If your location shroud value is 2 or less, which it is, reduce this action ability cost by 1. Okay. I will spend an action and get rid of that. I am also going to move down to the moonlit. Well, you're not directly connected well, you are connected. Yeah, you are directly connected to everything. So that's not a problem. What are we doing? What's the bottom card of my deck? It's a disappearing coins. Great. I'm going to spend $1 to put disappearing coins into play. This one doesn't get the benefit of the tension ability because it wasn't around for that. So I spent 1 actual resource, which puts 1 on here and 1 on you. Great. I have 1 resource and 3 disappearing coins value, except, yeah, because you just come into play with 1. You're going to come to my location, and then I can engage you and then blam you with my Colt Vest Pocket, which is kind of what I want to do, if I'm being honest. So let's do that when we get the chance. Your 3 fights, not my favorite. It's what it is. So I moved. I played a card. I'm going to gain 2 resources. Yeah, that sounds fine. You'll move to my location, but you're aloof. Resource and a card. Burning the Midnight Oil. Okay, we're at 2 of 9 doom, and we draw a scheme and a hex. So the first hex treachery drawn each round by each investigator at his location or each connecting woods location gains surge. So this will surge. Oh, and I forgot to. I'm sorry. I took a. Yeah, I forgot to put the moon tokens back last round. I took the damage and horror, but I forgot to put them back. So I get -1 skill value for each moon token sealed on me, sealed on investigator cards at their location. After a moon token is released, discard this. And it goes into play next to the agenda deck, and then that surges into, a bear. Ursine Brute, 4 health, 4 fight, 1 evade, creature, monster, abomination. Hunter spawns at any woods location. I'm going to put you in the woodland overlook for now. After it takes 1 or more damage, ready it. The flavor text is, an actual bear would be welcome at this point. It would be. Victory 1 deals 2 damage. Jeez. Okay. I'll deal with you in a minute. Great. I'm going to engage this New Moon Illusionist as my first action. Hi, friend. We're going to spend $2 at fast speed to put a Colt vest pocket down. This does not discard my Scroll of Secrets because I can juggle all the things I want to juggle. It's magic. I'm also going to fast put down this ice pick. That takes all of my disappearing coin money. Just straight up right there. That's all my disappearing coin money. I've got 4 hands worth of stuff out. So we're going to shoot that illusionist. Colt Vest Pocket gets me to 4 fight. Ice Pick gets me to 5 fight. -2, that's a hit. That's 2 damage. Let's try that again. Put the 2 back. We'll use my other ice pick that I just put out. Tablet -2 if there are 1 or more moon tokens. There are not. You're dead. Great. So I engaged. I shot him twice. The Colt Vest Pocket's going to get ditched at the end of the round. The Scroll of Secrets is going to get ditched at the end of the round. That's fine. I'm going to Hermes on over to this remote cabin. Force Shroud, 1 per investigator clues, is connected to the 3 rightmost copies of the forest and vice versa. Has additional cost to move from a remote cabin to a non-woods location. Place a doom on a card you control. I will spend a clue and blank this. So now it is not connected. Oh, that's so... Okay, so I realized something. Oh, wait, never mind. It's fine. No, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. I thought I made an error. Everything's fine. So I engaged. Pop, pop, move. The bear is going to move to the moonlit forest. No, you can go to the circular grove. Have fun down there. I'll empty down to my hand size. So I'm keeping my 2 ice picks, resource, and a card. My other copy of Medical Student. I'm not upset. 3 doom. Surge. Search the chaos bag for a moon. Ominous moonlight. Search the chaos bag for a moon and seal it on your investigator card. None of those are moons. There's a moon. Great. And you surge. Endless spawn. At the end of the round, if there are no enemies. Great. I'm going to have to get rid of that. It says agility 3 to get rid of it. I'm currently at agility 4. Okay. Let's get rid of that. I'm at 1 up as it is. I'm going to spend 2 resources to get +3 with Streetwise, which will put a thing on disappearing coins. And I'm at 7. 7 to 3. Skulls are currently -4, so I'm fine. Let's get rid of this endless spawn. Great. Let's investigate. We're going to use both of my ice picks, and I'm going to fast put down my magnifying glass to be at 4, 5, 6, 7 to 4. -3. Perfect. That's a clue. Putting me back at 4 clues. That's a victory. I'm going to return magnifying glass to hand. Honestly, the fact that I can return to my hand is a bonus. The fact that I can play it for fast to fill up hand slots to play other things for fast is great. I'm just loving it. That's such a great card for this deck. Okay. Unfortunately, no matter where I go, the bear can get me if I move. Well, not true. That is not, strictly speaking, true. He's in the bottom left corner. I could go to the top left corner and he couldn't get me. So I'm going to move back to the forest passage because I can, and then move to the upper left, which does not directly connect to where the bear is. That's fine. In fact, I might just let that be fine. I was going to Midnight Oil for some extra money, but I forgot to. We can do it next round. I'm going to be investigating. Bear will move to the middle left location. Resource and a card. Muscle memory. Fast play after investigator at my location plays an asset. I may immediately play another asset at -1 cost, which is hilarious because that works with magnifying glass because it's fast. I am going to take a horror and get rid of this moon, which gets rid of this phantasmal deception. Would that have changed anything? I drew that last, or I drew that late, so I think I'm fine. I'm sorry if I forgot that. Did I add a doom? I don't think I did. 4 doom. Moonlight illusion. Test will or agility 3. Gets +1 difficulty for every... Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to commit muscle memory to this to be... Well... What if I just spent money? I can spend $2, which puts a thing on one my tensioned disappearing coins to be 4 up. That's a moon. Stop drawing those. And a -1. Great. Okay. What are we doing with my life? Let's move to the Woodland Outlook. 4 Shroud, 1 per investigator clues. It's connected to the left 3 leftmost copies of Moonlit Forest, which is currently the bear. As an additional cost to move from this location to a non-woods location, discarding non-weakness card I control. I'm going to spend one of my clues and prevent that. It also means the bear is not directly connected to me now, which is important. So I've got 3 regular actions left. Let's double ice. So burning the midnight oil, we're going to fast put the mag glass down, which gives me 4, 5, 6, 7 to 4. And got me 2 resources. Tablet -2. If there are 1 or more moons on me, I lose an action. Well, I got the clue, which is important. And there are now 5 locations that are connected to the circus encampment. So hooray. So I moved, I investigated, I lost an action, so I have 1 regular action left with which I don't really want to walk into the circus encampment as my last action. We're going to fast put down medical student at a cost of 2. Actually, cost of 1, and then 1 off of disappearing coins, which will immediately pay itself back to heal a damage and a horror from all these pings I've been taking. I'll pick up my mag glass while we're at it, too. And let's be honest, this card isn't doing me anything. We're gonna... No. Well, actually, I'll spend 1 and 1 of my disappearing coins to get 1 back on disappearing coins to play my laboratory assistant to draw 2 cards, which got me Professor William Webb and a Lone Wolf. Honestly, I don't hate it. Discard down to ally slot, and then the brute has to go to the forest passage. Yep. Ready everything, resource and a card. Losing focus. Put losing focus into play in your threat area. After you discard 1 or more cards during the upkeep phase, take a horror. 5 doom. Feral impulses. When the mythos phase again, each investigator with 1 or more moon tokens. Oh, I forgot to get rid of my moon. I'll take a horror and get rid of the moon. Gotta remember to do that. Okay. If I move, well, that's funny. I'm going to fast play Magnifying Glass, and then I'm going to fast play Muscle Memory to play Lone Wolf at -1 cost. That is stupid. I will then return Magnifying Glass to my hand. Love it. Love this. This is perfect. It's everything I could want it to be. I'm running out of rounds. I can move, evade the Ursine Beast, move, and then I'd still have an action left to respond with, but I don't love that. I have losing focus on me, which I also don't love. Let's move, evade the beast. Skulls are -5 now. Actually, first, let's get rid of the losing focus. Double action, losing focus, move, and then evade the Ursine Beast. I'm 3 up. I will spend 2 resources, which puts 1 on disappearing coins, to be way more up. -4. Glad I was way more up. I was 7 to 1. Great. You're evaded. You're ready. And I ended my turn at the location with the hypnotic glamour. If you end your turn here, you must either take a horror or search the bag for a moon. I'll just take a horror. I'm at 3 of 8 horror. The bear's gonna ready, and that's fine. Resource card, scroll of secrets, which I can throw down at fast speed. Who needs actions for assets? What is the point even of asset actions? Like, who needs them? We're at 6 of 8 doom. Feral impulses discards itself. I need to get moving. Circus predator. Spawn at any woods location. I'm going to put you in the bottom right corner because it'll take you a minute. Circus Predator, 2 health, 3 fight, 3 evade. Creature, monster, abomination. Oh, I realized now what's wrong with your art, and it is disturbing. After it moves to wood, from a woods location to another woods location, it gains +1 horror until the end of the round. It's not a tiger, so what the hell is it? Deals a damage. That's a great question. I don't know. Action the first. Evade. I gain a resource, sorry, from Lone Wolf. I'm going to spend 2 resources, which puts 1 on disappearing coins, to evade at obnoxious V1. That's an elder sign. That's an elder sign. I'll return an ice picks and throw down a scroll of secrets, not having to pay for it. I will fast look at the bottom card of my deck, which is a spotlight, and add it to my hand. Neat. You're evaded. We're going to move to the circus encampment. If each undefeated investigator is at the circus encampment, you may advance. Oh, it's just 1 agenda. Oh, it's just 1 agenda. Okay, let me reconsider this. Well, I evaded. Do I want to try to kill the bear? It's worth the VP. How much VP do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 VP. That's not bad. How much is it going to cost me to kill this bear? It's going to cost me a lot to kill this bear. You may advance. Yeah, let's go to the circus encampment and just see what's there. 4 shroud, 0 clues. When you end your turn at circus encampment, release any amount of moon tokens sealed on your investigator card. At last, the path is unobstructed. So I evaded you. I moved. I have 2 regular actions left. I've got another Colt somewhere in my deck. How many cards are in my deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could feasibly find my Colt. So let's draw a card, Art Student, and draw a card, Calling in Favors, neither of which particularly help me at this moment. Resource and a card, and you hunt. What's a way for you to hunt to me that isn't super annoying? Unfortunately, there is none. You're with the bear now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. I need to ditch 2. I've got 2 Calling in Favors in hand. And an art. I don't need the Art Student. I also don't need Professor Webb. Well, I could play Webb to get a gun out of my discard pile. There are 4 cards left in my deck. Maybe I'm putting too much into this. I should just leave. 7 doom of 9. Lunar interference. Test will 3. This gets +1 difficulty for each moon sealed on me, of which there are none. So I'm 1 down. 0. I lose a card at random from my hand, but I do not lose an action. And the card I lose at random from my hand is Professor William Webb. Yeah, that removes the get the gun from that strategy. So, did I already see both of them? Colt Vest Pocket. Oh, yeah, both of them are in the discard pile. So, yeah, no, I'm not killing that bear anytime soon. If each I'm going to advance. No reason to stick around. Carefully on tiptoe stealing. Act 1B. By learning gradually unworking the illusion spread throughout the forest, you can finally approach the outskirts of the circus camp. No alarm appears to have been raised, so you proceed with stifled breaths and careful movements. R2. So I thought, going into the scenario that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go save the people that the circus grabbed. I guess I was just bumbling around the forest. And now I'm going to be saving the people the forest grabbed. R2. Despite the fearsome challenges in the forest, you find the camp to be surprisingly placid. The performers sleep in tents or in hammocks out in the open, with only a small night guard on duty patrolling. For all the magic and monstrosity at their command, the circus is still crewed by mortal humans with common needs. The performers active at this time of night appear to be the most cerebral ones, perhaps the ones more skilled in maintaining the illusory protection shielding their campsite. You hope that this means a rescue will face less physical opposition, but the creatures under their command are fearsome. Some that you have faced in the woods did not even look disguised as circus animals. They were almost formless amalgamations of mouths, tentacles, hooves, and horns scattered over a fleshy trunk-like the patches on an old coat. You shudder to imagine what worse things could be at the circus's beck and call, but you knew the risks before you began this rescue mission. Did I? Record that the investigators bypassed the illusions. Go to R3. With cautious steps, you traverse the outskirts of the circus encampment, looking for any sign of the kidnapped citizens. There's no apparent order to the layout of the many tents and lean-tos until you reach a towering oak at the far side, ancient and twisted, all but barren. An ornate painted trailer stands against it, larger than any of the other nearby carts by far. You don't have to guess who the owner of this trailer is, but your assumption is confirmed as the towering figure of the ringmaster emerges and descends the short steps. Circus performers nearby sit up and stand at attention as their master strides past. "Get your sleep," he utters in a low and darkly mellow tone. "The perimeter guard will let us know when they arrive, for they must. Were they not foreseen?" The performers settle back down as the ringmaster continues his walk through the camp and out into the forest. Sylvester Blake's dark form melts into the shadowy tree line, but you wait for nearly a minute with bated breath to be sure. If he finds any evidence of your intrusion quickly, then your chance to act will disappear. Moreover, with the ringmaster out in the woods, you have a rare chance to delve into the heart of the matter. Stealing your nerve, you creep up the steps to his trailer. Earn victory X, which is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no clue hidden from me. Haha. Interlude, the future and the past. The door to the ringmaster's trailer, thankfully, opens and closes with barely any sound. That's okay. The interior is lavishly furnished, every piece of furniture and decor made from material of the finest quality. One shelf is stocked with books of the occult, the very writing on their spines already sparking a feeling of dread in you. Your browsing has only begun when a quiet sound snaps your attention to a dark curtain separating the trailer into halves. Cautiously, you ready yourself for trouble and throw back the curtain. The second half is no less richly decorated, but hardly worthy of your attention. A dark-skinned woman in the garb of a fortune-teller sits bound to a chair and gagged, softly stirring in an exhausted state. Her eyes drift to you, weary at first, but widen in shock in an instant. The woman leans forward, her breathing accelerating as you reach back to untie the knotted cloth. "It's you," she gasps quietly, her voice dry but still smooth with a southern drawl. "From my visions. It's really happening." If one or more investigators if one or more clairvoyant investigators were chosen for this campaign, no, I am not clairvoyant. You encourage the woman to enlighten you as you set about untying her. It's just, sorry, y'all probably don't even know what I'm talking about. There's so much to explain, but I'll start with my name. Almethea Weaver. Amalthea. Almathea Weaver? But Thea's fine. Great. I've been a prisoner at the circus for months now. The ringleader is, I can't even call him a man. Blake is evil beyond humanity. You help Thea to her feet, and she steadies herself against you. I can't thank y'all enough. You ask Thea why the ringmaster held her captive in the first place, and she looks at your face with strange familiarity. My visions. I've been a fortune teller for the four-leaf circus for most of my life. Blake bought it out and started replacing everyone, even the animals, except for me. I started having terrible visions that included him and you standing against him. I don't know how Blake found out, but he kept me close. I once tried to quit, and he took me prisoner. Thea shudders as she thinks back. He forced me to tell him of my visions, not physically, but my mind. He used his magic to squeeze it like an orange, make me talk about things I didn't even know that I knew. It took all my strength just to hold back the details of who could stop him, only that you were here in Arkham, but that was my only hope. And y'all are a wonderful sight for sore eyes. It's a lot to take in at once. Whether or not you believe Thea's stories, Blake still brought the circus north to Arkham, pursuing those she saw against him. He'll be after your blood, especially with your actions trying to stop his slaughter at the very least. You ask Thea if she knows just what Blake wants to stop your involvement in, and she gives a dazed nod. I don't fully know, but let me show you something I'm sure I can help you figure out. One investigator must add the Almathea Weaver, circus fortune teller, to their deck. Let me grab it. Come on, there you go. 2 cost clairvoyant ally performer. You get +1 will. Fast during a skill test at your location. You can exhaust her. The performing investigator gets +X skill value for this test, where X is half the number of moon tokens sealed on cards at your location, rounded up. Joy. This must be added to my deck. She commits for a wild. Recovering her strength by degrees, Thea directs you back to the first half of the trailer, to the shelf of occult books. That one, with the light brown leather, she indicates. You pull the weatherbound tome from its place and inspect its cover. Eldritch symbols adorn the cover, but nothing distinguishes it from the other works near it. You unlatch the clasp and inspect the aged parchment inside. If one or more Miskatonic scholar or believer, nope. So skip ahead. Thea stands beside you as you study the first page of the old tome. So this is it. Blake would often have this book at hand when he questioned me. Her finger traces a word at the top of the page. Apuleius, she mutters. You ask Thea how much she can read of the tome. Most of it. One of the magicians at the old circus taught me to read and write Latin. They said that knowing it would add some flair to my fortune telling. Seems so long ago now. You close the book and add it to your belongings. There will be time to study its secrets later, but you have to get it out of Blake's hand. One investigator must add the Decultist Bestiae, Forgotten Works of Alpolchius, apologies for the terrible, terrible pronunciation, to their deck. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. Okay, sorry. The encounter set that's indicated, the next card is another Almathea Weaver, but it's a different one. I'm supposed to add the Circus Fortune Teller, which I did. And then the there's a lot of both of these cards in this set, so maybe there's a lot of ways I can maybe steer this. We'll see. But I have to add this to my deck. 2 cost, commits for a wild item tome occult, gives you +1 intellect, not complaining. Action, if there are no tokens sealed on it, search the chaos bag for a moon token and seal it on it. This does not provoke attacks of opportunity. And then I can fast release a sealed token on it. Okay. So it just lets me take... It's an action, though. But I can just action take a moon out of the deck, or moon out of the bag. Okay. Uh, you wonder aloud what the ancient text and Thea's visions have in common, and Thea wrings her hands together. There's one other thing for my visions. In the furthest ones I can see, there's an eclipse, a full one. If Norman Withers was chosen for this campaign, nope. So skip ahead. A total eclipse. The celestial event is certainly mystic in itself, but the exact importance to Sylvester Blake and his circus isn't clear. The answers must be somewhere in the leather-bound tome, but you can't devote any time to study it here and now. You ask Thea to think on her visions once you're safely away from the encampment with as many captive civilians as you can find. She agrees and readies herself for a cautious bid for freedom. It's now that you wish the full moon would vanish for a while to help cover the escape. Add a moon token to the chaos bag. This brings us to 4. My understanding is the maximum is 6. I think. I mean, I would assume so. I have 6. Where's my bag? There's my bag. 6. Proceed to scenario 3, Harm's Way. Okay. You have my attention. I'll be back for... I'm liking this so far. I'm rather liking this so far, and I think my deck is just silly enough for the purposes. But yeah, hope this is fun for you all to listen to, and I will be back with scenario 3 and 4 in a subsequent episode. If you want to get in contact with me about anything, feel free to reach out to me at therestrictedcollection@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can find me around as Head Librarian Chad. Thanks for listening.